Hey y'all, Doug with D&E in the Garage. Today I'm coming at you with another podcast, another interesting topic that I've been rattling around in my head this whole past week, and I'd like to talk to you guys about it. You will notice right off the bat that I'm in a different vehicle today. I'm not in the Cherokee or the Grand Cherokee that I'm usually in when we do these things. Today I'm in my wife's 2006 Jeep Commander, and there's a reason for that. The reason is we're currently looking to trade this vehicle in. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. We love this vehicle. It's been really cool having a 7-passenger vehicle, but it's about to click over 200,000 miles, and while there's nothing wrong with it now, we'd like to get out from under it before it loses all its value. So we've been looking at some vehicles. We've been out there test driving Jeep Patriots, Jeep Compass, Subaru Imprezas, Subaru XV, Subaru Foresters. And in this process, I've had a lot of people give me advice on what I should buy. I'll tell them, oh, I'm looking at a Jeep Compass. And they're like, oh, you're looking at the Compass? You know what you should do? Stop by the Toyota dealership. Go ahead, drive a RAV4. It's similar price, all-wheel drive, about the same size. And I can't really give them a rational reason why there's no way in hell I'm going to do that. There's no rational way for me to explain the fact that our household is a brand loyal household to companies like Jeep and Subaru when it comes to cars, all right? And I've been thinking a lot about that and brand loyalty and the fact that, you know, we know people that have all kinds of other vehicles, CRVs, Hyundai Santa Fe's, cars that are in the same classes, and while there's nothing wrong with those vehicles, they're just not for us. And it's because of brand loyalty that I can't stomach the idea of having a Toyota in my garage. And I've been really knocking around because we're trying to make the right choice for us. We're trying to get a car with low miles that we're going to have for several years. And so I'm asking myself, is it right to limit the playing field based on brand? Just because I have these preconceived notions and bias towards certain brands. And that's what this conversation is going to be about. I've really dug into this. I've done some research into brand loyalty, and I found out that brand loyalty is such a big factor in the car market that Edmunds actually puts out, they call it the loyalty report every year. And it's a whole report that companies and consumers use to make decisions, and it's detailing what brands have the most brand loyalty, what brands have the least, who's rising, who's falling. It's really interesting, and it really opened up a door of thought for me. And so I'm going to dig into that now. Let's start by defining brand loyalty. If you're not sure, if you've never taken a marketing class where they explained it, brand loyalty is defined as the tendency of some consumers to continue buying one brand over others, even though it's not necessarily the most economic choice. Now, economic choice, while clearly dealing with money, could mean a lot of things. It could mean the initial price. It could mean cost of ownership, operational costs, repair costs, possibly value retention, maybe renewals, depending on what you're talking about, what product. And after that initial definition, brand loyalty splits into two segments. Now, the first one is the more rational one. It's how somebody becomes loyal to a brand. And the first one's called a satisfied consumer. Now, if you are loyal to a brand because you're a satisfied consumer, it means that there's no real emotional reason behind your loyalty towards a brand. You've just had good experiences with them. A great example of this is Subaru for me. I wasn't looking to be a fan of Subaru. I wasn't drawn to their culture or anything. I had a Subaru. It was a great car, and now I could really like Subarus. I've had a couple other ones since then, and with a few exceptions, I've been really satisfied with the brand. So when it's time to look for a new car, Subaru's at the top of the list. Another example of that, life-proof phone cases. All right, these things have survived falls and drops and water, and not only that, but they have incredible customer service. Once every 6 months, they let me warranty out my case, and they send me a brand new one. All I do is pay shipping, and that's great. And it's made it so that when I buy a new phone, I don't even look at another phone case. I buy a life-proof for it. Day one, done. I don't look at outer boxes. I don't look at ballistic cases, anything else. The next kind of consumer is called a committed consumer, and this is where the waters get a little bit muddier. A committed consumer is somebody who while they may be satisfied with the brand as well, there's some more emotional reasons why they are so loyal to the brand. Jeep is hands down a good example of this for me. I fell in love with the Jeep brand before I even owned a Jeep, before I could even drive a car, because I thought Jeeps looked cool. And I always thought it was much cooler to be able to drive over stuff than to go really fast, you know? Another example of this, and this is something people don't think of as being a brand, right here on my shirt, Chicago Bears. All right. If you don't think sports teams are a brand, think again. Everybody involved is getting paid. They are very much a business. Very much a business. Now, my loyalty to the Chicago Bears is absolutely based solely on emotion. All right. I'm not even from the Chicago area. I've only been there twice in my life, for a couple days each time. They haven't been good, save for like 1 or 2 seasons, my entire life. I was born in '88. Last time they did anything good was '85. But my mother's family is from Chicago. All my uncles were Bears fans. My mother was a Bears fan. When we watched football, when I watched football as a kid, I had Bears jerseys and everything. You just watch the Bears, and I'm committed. I'm a lifelong fan. They could never win another game my entire life. And every Sunday in the fall, I'm still going to be looking for that Bears game and hoping that Aaron Rodgers breaks a leg. An example of a sports team where you might be a satisfied customer would be if you're around my age and you're like a Cowboys fan or a Patriots fan. All right. Now, when we were kids, when I was a kid, the Cowboys were killing it. And then after their reign was done, the Patriots have been, running the table for 18 years now. It's a little more understandable to be a Patriots fan these days than a Bears fan. But either way, sports teams are the best example of brand loyalty. Another good example of this is, for me, of a committed consumer is Carhartt. Now, there are a bunch of brands that do about the same thing as Carhartt, like Schmidt. And their products are very similar, and they're usually 20, 30, 40% cheaper. But I tend to pay extra for the Carhartt name. And I think it's because as a kid, my dad had a Carhartt vest, right? And the thing was broken in perfectly, it had stains and holes in all the right spots. And when he was going outside to work in his wood shop, he put this vest on, and that was like the definition of cool. And so this emotional trigger means that when I'm standing there and I'm looking at 2 jackets and one is significantly more expensive, but it's got that Carhartt name, there's a very good chance that I may be going for that Carhartt jacket, That's the example of being a committed consumer. And there are a bunch of other ways you can become a committed consumer. Maybe you're motivated by religious reasons or moral issues. A good example of this would be Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby. The owners of both of those companies have some very polarizing views on social issues. They're very religious, and they choose to make that a part of their business. Now, while this might alienate a large portion of their potential customer base, they still choose to do it. And I believe as a result, they do have a loyal following of committed consumers who may shop with them, even though they may not be the most economic choice. They may have to drive further to get to one of these spots, but they'll go there because it's important to them to shop someplace where they know the company shares their views. Another one is nationalism, made in the USA, and I'm a sucker for this. I will pay extra to have a product that I know was made in the United States. I'm not going to defend it right now. It just is what it is. I recognize that it may or may not be rational. It's important to me. Benchmade knives. You pay a ton for Benchmade knives. All right? Then yeah, they are good knives, but there are plenty of good knives you can get at a fraction of the cost. People still buy Benchmade knives. And I think a lot of them do it because they're made in the United States. Yeah, absolutely. That's a factor. It's hard to find. You know what I mean? Most knives you get are made overseas, and certainly the cheap ones. Another thing that might be a motivation is the visibility or the reputation of a company. Clothes companies. This is obviously huge for clothes companies. Now, it doesn't really matter to me. I buy my clothes at Walmart. I really do, because this is not one that affects me, but I'm not looking down on anybody who it does affect. Think like Nike, all right? A pair of sweatpants that have that little swoosh on them. You're telling me they're any better than the And One ones, or the ones from Walmart, or the ones from Target or whatever that are going to be a fraction of the cost? I submit they're probably not, and you're just going to wear them to sleep in or sweat in, but there are people that want that name. That matters, that visibility. When you get t-shirts that have the brand logo smeared across it, and it's, a $30 t-shirt as opposed to the ones you can get at Walmart that have no name on them that are $5 a piece. People like that. That's what they want, and they're willing to pay for it. Alcohol companies do this. You know, a lot of people will pay extra for top shelf liquor, even though it probably tastes very similar, maybe even worse than some more economic choices, but they want to be seen having the bartender reach that top shelf and pour that into their glass. And that's important to them, and they're willing to pay for it. Another one is tech companies. There are a lot of tech companies that are seen to be more forward thinking or more cutting edge. Apple. Right? If you want people to know that you are tech savvy, you buy Apple products. Right? My Dell laptop, my Windows laptop, $400. Your Apple laptop, $2,000. Right? Now, yeah, there may be some quality differences, but I find it hard to believe that the components justify that much of a jump in price. But people are willing to pay for it. Tesla is another one. There are plenty of electric cars out there, and yeah, I know Teslas are getting fast, but when you buy a Tesla, I believe you're spending your money on more than just an electric car. You're buying that name, all right? When you drive a Tesla, you're not only saying, I like driving an electric car, you're saying I'm really forward thinking. I'm cutting edge. You know what I mean? That's what you're paying for when you buy a Tesla, and that's why people are willing to spend that money. And so all this brings me to my question of, is brand loyalty right? Or is it a liability as a consumer to go into a purchasing situation with a bias like that? It's sometimes viewed as shameful in this country, in this economy, to make the more indulgent choice. And so that goes right in the face of brand loyalty, because when I am looking for a car and I'm not even considering brands like Nissan or Toyota, am I immediately dooming myself to make an irresponsible choice? And my answer to that question is no. And this is how I get there. All right. If you will indulge me for a minute, I'm going to take us down a philosophical path. If you're familiar with existentialism, you know that existentialist philosophers believe that the meaning of life is to find meaning in life. Bear with me. They believe that we're all on a journey to live our authentic life. We are born empty glasses, and it's our meaning, our mission, our purpose on life to fill our own glass. Right? Now, this may seem a little too deep for a conversation of brand loyalty, but it is not. Right? Because what is brand loyalty if not an extension of your personality and your character? Whatever led you to being loyal to that brand in the first place is an extension of you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Right? By indulging yourself and being loyal to a brand and choosing to buy based on those emotional cues, what you're essentially admitting is that money is not the only motivator for you. If you only ever make the most economic choice, yeah, sure, you're responsible. But more than that, what you really are is ruled by the dollar. And that sounds like an awfully depressing way to live. I say, indulge. If you like having a closet full of name brand clothes that cost more than my car probably, go for it. That's who you are. That's what gives your life meaning. And before you even go there, don't for a second think that it's wrong to find meaning in material items. Yeah, your family and your kids and your dogs better come first. They do for me. But after that, yeah, there are some material items that give my life meaning. I love Jeeps. I love having a Jeep in the driveway and driving a Jeep. I love the culture. I love the history. I love what they do and what they stand for. And I don't care where they're made or who owns the company. I love driving a Jeep. That helps give my life meaning. All right. If wearing Oakley sunglasses gives your life some meaning, don't be ashamed of that. Indulge in that. That's part of your character. That's what's important to you. Yeah, sure, dollar store sunglasses would do just as fine. But if you like wearing those Oakleys or those Ray-Bans, rock and roll, man. You know? Hey, listen, if you're out having a couple drinks, Absolute Vodka will probably do the trick. But if you want Kettle One or Grey Goose, go for it. Indulge yourself. Fill out your personality. That becomes part of who you are. Consumerism and commercialism and capitalism in general are under attack these days. And they're viewed as evil and disgusting. And they're not. They're not. It's not wrong to want material things. It's not wrong to pursue material things. It's wrong to be consumed by material items. It's wrong to be consumed by the pursuit of material items. We all wake up and we go to work, and when you run the numbers, you spend a lot more time at work and asleep than you do otherwise living your life. And so if you can find some items, maybe you're really into fishing, so you decide to spend your money on some good fishing gear. Maybe you are really into golf, so you decide to spend your money on some really good golf clubs, so that for those few hours when you're not working or sleeping or taking care of, responsibilities, you can go out and hit the links. Maybe what's important to you is, eating organically. I believe that is very much a brand loyalty situation, because eating organically, shopping at Trader Joe's and Wegmans is not the most economic choice. It's not. But if that's what's important to you, if that's what means a lot to you, do it. Do it. Engage. Indulge. We are here to enjoy ourselves. And yes, this is very much an existentialism conversation, right? That's what we're discussing. What is our purpose here? What are we here to do? I think we're here just to enjoy ourselves. Why not indulge in that, right? And brand loyalty, I know that at face value, it seems so simple. Oh, well, you just always buy Jeeps. Oh, well, you just always buy Oakleys. You just always buy Nike. You just always buy Grey Goose. But what you're really doing is you're filling out your character, and you're filling out your personality, and you are enjoying the world around you. And you're enjoying the money you work so hard for. The money has no intrinsic value. The purpose of money is not just to have it, it's to have it to use it for something else. And yeah, you need to pay the bills, so maybe you can't indulge on every purchase, but find that one or two things that makes you happy. If it makes you happy eating at Chick-fil-A because you know they share your religious views, then screw McDonald's and screw Burger King, go to Chick-fil-A. It makes me happy to buy a Jeep. And that's what we're leaning towards. We're leaning towards a Jeep Compass. And yeah, it's a great vehicle. But I'm sure there are other great vehicles in that class. But to me and to my wife, Jeep is life. You know what I mean? And so that's the direction we're going to go. And there's nothing wrong with us for buying Jeep. There's nothing wrong with someone else for not buying Jeep. This is just what we do. This is what we like. And so to answer my question, I was concerned that by going into this purchasing process with these preconceived notions and bias, that I was cheating myself and maybe I wasn't being a responsible adult. But I've come to the conclusion after a week of soul searching and ranting at you fine folks that it's not wrong. It's absolutely not wrong to treat yourself. We're not out buying a $100,000 car, all right? We're going to buy a car we can afford. It's just going to happen to be a Jeep. And that's a cool thing. I think that's okay. So what I would love to know from you all, first of all, do you agree with me? Have you ever had a similar internal struggle? And if so, about what brand? I guarantee some of you out there have some brands that you're just kind of blindly follow, and they can do no wrong. Jeep can do no wrong in my eyes. And if they do wrong, I'm gonna find some way to defend them. It's true. Just ask Eric. He'll tell you. Anything they do that's a little bit questionable, I will find some way to twist the facts so that Jeep is not wrong, because that's who I am and that's how I feel. It is what it is. All right. So what are your brands? What brands are you loyal to? Why are you loyal to them? Is it an emotional trigger? Are you a satisfied consumer? Do you even know? There are some brands that I just buy. Milwaukee tools. I've never had a great experience with Milwaukee. I don't think there's any emotional trigger in my past. I know full well they're not made in the United States, but if I'm out shopping and I see Milwaukee against another brand, I just did it the other day with drill bits. There was a box of Milwaukee drill bits and a box of Ryobi drill bits, and the Milwaukees were like $4 more. And I bought the Milwaukees, and I don't know why. I did. It's an emotional trigger. It's some mental thing that makes me buy Milwaukee. Maybe it's good marketing. Maybe I was brainwashed. Who knows? So what are your brands? I want to know. Leave me a comment down in the squawk boxes. If you liked the video, and I hope you did, hit that like button. If you want to subscribe to the channel, I think that would be great. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.